is meant to cement the place of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as a regional hub in Eastern Central Africa, boasting of 50 check-in gates, 32 boarding bridges, and 45 additional aircraft parking positions. Now, the 55 billion shilling Greenfield Terminal was projected to be a regional aviation marvel and one that Kenya desperately needed. An official groundbreaking ceremony attended by President Uhuru Kenyatta looked set to set the Vision 2030 flagship on the path to realization. But that was never to be. And lest we forget, our very own Victoria Rubadiri brings us this week's National Reminder. Take a look.
On the 7th of August 2013, a mysterious fire razed the arrivals terminal of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The dawn fire led to the unprecedented closure of Kenya's main airport. It was a major disruption to one of Kenya's key foreign exchange earners, tourism. But it also brought to the fore the need for a bigger and more modern airport. The fire forced Kenyan authorities to explore makeshift options to keep the airport operational. A parking building was converted to an arrivals terminal, and prefabricated plastic structures were erected to serve as departure terminals for international as well as local flights. But this would probably have not been the despair had the Kenyan government followed its own Vision 2030 plans. Modernization of the JKIA, complete with a new terminal named Greenfield, was part of those plans. The JKIA plan had been set in motion as far back as June 2011, when the Kenya Airports Authority advertised an international tender for the design and construction of a new terminal. 110 firms expressed interest in the project. Now, between the tender advertisement and the eventual groundbreaking in December 2013, the process was riddled with controversy. Following a change in transport ministers from the late John Mishuki to Amos Kimunya, the process was cancelled. The Transport Ministry ordered the Airports Authority to have the tender cancelled and instituted afresh. Well, this directive was ignored, and Anhui Construction, a Chinese firm, was awarded the tender to begin construction in December 2011. This was later revoked by Kimunya. Now, on January 20th, 2012, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission launched investigations after claims that the award of the contract was riddled with corrupt dealings. In August that same year, Kimunya gazetted a new steering committee to oversee implementation of the project. The KAA managing director at the time, Stephen Gishuki, was sent on compulsory leave for failing to implement a directive by Kimunya to have the tender cancelled. However, the minister's decision was overturned by the industrial court, seeing Gishuki reinstated and the plan now seemingly clear for takeoff. And on December 3rd, 2013, less than a week after the launch of the standard gauge railway construction, President Uhuru Kenyatta officiated the groundbreaking ceremony of the 55 billion shilling project at JKIA.
This airport will provide airlines with the services they require for efficient operations, speed and comfort for their passengers.
This facility will actually confirm Kenya's place as the hub of this region.
We shall do everything possible to ensure that Jomo Kenyatta International Airport will always portray the true character of our country.
The new terminal would have increased JKIA's passenger capacity by an additional 20 million people, making it one of the biggest aviation hubs on the continent. It would have featured 50 international check-in counters, 8 air bridges, 4 docking aircrafts, and 45 aircraft parking stands. It would also add another runway to JKIA. Two Chinese contractors, Anhui Civil Engineering Group and China Aero Technology Engineering International Corp, were tasked with construction of the 178,000 square meter terminal that was designed by Pascal and Watson of London. The expected completion date was set for 2017. And so, the search for funds to construct the new terminal began. By March 2014, the KAA board was in negotiations with the China Exim Bank, Africa Development Bank, American Consortium AAE, and Standard Bank Group. Of the total cost, KAA was expected to raise 15%, equivalent to 8.4 billion shillings, through a public-private partnership. The other 48 billion shillings the authority hoped to get from the four financiers. In February 2015, the project hit a snag after new evidence emerged of an over 9 billion shilling variance in the contract for the new terminal. The revelation came a few days after KAA sent home 4 top managers to pave way for investigations into corruption allegations at JKIA. By May 2015, following EACC investigations, the terminal project was cleared of corruption allegations, with the anti-corruption body recommending that the file be closed. Almost a year later, however, KAA terminated the contract for the new terminal. The reason? Economic constraints over the course of 3 years. This was after the contractor China Aero Technology Import and Export Corporation had already excavated the foundation and mobilized 90% of the equipment needed for construction. Questions would arise on how much KAA would have to pay the firm for the untimely termination of the contract. Now, in June of 2018, 2 years later, KAA management were put to task by lawmakers over cancellation of the Greenfield Terminal project. While appearing before the Public Investment Committee, the KAA MD at the time, Johnny Anderson, revealed 4.3 billion shillings was paid to the contractor as part of the advance payment provided for in the contract agreement. Another 129.9 million shillings was paid to consultants for project supervision and design review fees, while still another 75 million shillings was spent on the groundbreaking ceremony. Now, in May of 2019, the contractors Anhui Construction Engineering Group Limited and China Aero Technology International Engineering Corporation demanded 17 billion shillings in compensation for the cancellation of their contract. KAA MD Johnny Anderson, however, said the claims had not been verified and the authority was actually seeking a 4.3 billion shilling refund from the firm. To date, there is no word on whether the matter was settled or what the Public Investments Committee gathered on its probe into the cancellation of the project. That's your national reminder of the week, lest you forget.